Too Far Enterprises. And I'd like, if you value the content, to like, share, and subscribe. But I understand that we have been taught from birth to love the people we should hate and hate the people we should love. We don't have much love for ourselves, so it's almost impossible to ask you to love something that when you look in the mirror, you try your hardest to run away from. And I know my words sometimes cut to the core, but we've been taught to hate ourselves. And who benefits from that? Why do you want to look like somebody who tortured, beat, raped, and did all kind of things to you? You want to wear their hair, you want to walk and talk like them, and all the while they are imitating you. They have been doing that for centuries. Where do you think they get their music from? Where do you think they get their style from? Blacks, and no less whites, need to know that in the centuries preceding the African Atlantic slave trade and the invention of a virulent racism to justify it, the idea of black inferiority did not exist and does not exist today, only in the minds who are foolish enough to believe it. Far too many Americans of African descent believe their history started in America with bondage and struggles forward from there toward today's second-class citizenship. The cost of this obstructive view of ourselves, of our history, is incalculable. How can we collectively successful if we have no idea, or worse, the wrong idea of who we were and therefore are? We are history's amnesiacs, fitted with the memories of others. Our minds can be trained for individual career success, but our group morale, the very soul of us, has been devastated by the assumption that what has not been told to us about ourselves does not exist. This is the nub of it. Americans' contemporary racial problems cannot be solved. Racism cannot be arrested. Achievement gaps cannot be fully closed until Americans, and that means all Americans, are repaired in their view of Africa's role in history, in their view of how they see you and they see themselves. We are the parents of civilization, but yet we act like the children of the people we are supposed to have actually birthed. Mankind starts in Africa. That means Africans are parents of the world, but you act like the children. We try to be friends with our children, and what do we get for it? Exactly what we deserve. Be parents. Be proud. Like it or not, races are fixed in their views of each other, while restrained by the deforest fetters of polite hypocrisy. Most in the world, including Africa and her progeny, perceive Africa and blacks generally to be lagging in the field of achievement. This was not always the case, and has only been the case for the merest moment in a long march of human progress. To be made large and formidable and masterful again, to be made whole, blacks need to know the land of their forebears when its civilizations were veritably equal to no other, to any other in the world. And the reason why we don't know is because all of that has been stripped away, but we do not have the zeal and the zest to find out about ourselves. Somebody once asked me, who is my great-great-great-great-great-grandmother? I could not tell them past my great-grandmother. I had to look up some information. And then the information that you look up comes from the very person who gave you all the misinformation in the beginning. Understand this. Previous European scholarship knew that the foundations of European civilization derived from classic Greek civilization. That scholarship further accepted that Greeks had laid down as patently obvious that classical Greek civilization derived in its religion, its philosophy, its mathematics, and much else from the ancient civilizations of Africa, above all from Egypt of the pharaohs. To these and those founding fathers in classical Greece, any assumption or notion that Africans were inferior, were morally, intellectually, and it seemed silly. It was morally and intellectually false. And that narrative has been put on us ever since we met the same people that we invited into our land. You see, they came with the good book, which most of us we hold in high esteem. But I'm not going to roll on that. If you tend to believe in things that your oppressor tell you, so fine. There's a lot of good things about that book. But that book was written from a narrative of white supremacy. Yesterday, I listened to a video, and it was talking about a white European man telling me and telling you and telling the world how he's not going to help black people anymore. I don't want your help. I already saw how you helped me already, and I've had enough of it. So you go ahead and move to those subdivisions and any of those places that you want to, of trying to get away from black folks, because that was the name of the video. Telling whites to get away from black folks. But you see, what's happening is, what was happening to the black man in America is starting to happen to the middle class. Okay? And people are starting to see that the wealth gap is getting further and further apart. What they decided not to get involved in before, when they saw it happening to black folks, is now happening to them. And just wait till AI start taking over more jobs, okay? So when you find out that the rich don't care about anybody but themselves, you'll understand what the black civilization communities have been going through with our people. Whenever they get rich, they go off to themselves and they figure that people are begging them. But when they were small in the junior leagues and they didn't have these big contracts, who supported you? Who put food on your table? And you don't think that you're supposed to pay those people back. You're not supposed to play it forward. Well, I'm not going to ask you for nothing. You keep it. But sooner or later, the same person who gave you your wealth will take it. And then where you going to go? Okay? And if that doesn't happen, karma is something else. As I said before, I know y'all may not want to hear this, but this was just something I had to get out. Okay? And I hope you listen to it. This is Too Far Enterprises. And like, share, and subscribe would be nice. But do what your heart tells you to do. We don't support one another, and it would be good to see us do that. Thank you.